Welcome back to Darker Things, where we explore stories that echo through time, haunting us with their lessons and their warnings. Today, we journey into the mind and world of Jim Jones and the People's Temple, a movement that began with promises of equality and hope and ended in a tragedy that the world would never forget. Through the words of those who lived it, both leaders and followers, we will hear their truths, their doubts, and moments that shaped history. I didn't set out to become a god. I set out to be a voice. The world was broken. Greed, racism, hatred, tearing people apart. And I knew I was the cure. I remember when they first came to me, not as followers, but as people, abandoned by a country that didn't care if they lived or died. I offered them family, a home where they didn't have to hide, where they could finally breathe without fear. I called it the People's Temple, and we built it together, brick by brick, heart by heart. But power is a hungry beast. It devours everything it touches. At first, it was a whisper, a silent hum in my mind that grew louder with each sermon, each promise I made. Soon enough, it was more than I could control. Church halls became too small, city streets too confined. So we sought new ground, a fresh beginning, Jonestown. It's supposed to be that paradise, that jungle. We could finally live as we were meant to be, far from the watchful eyes of a world that wanted to see us fail. But the jungle, it changes you. Days bleed into nights, and the shadows grow longer. I saw it in their eyes, that spark of doubt, that flicker of rebellion. They wanted what I promised, but the sacrifice. And sacrifice? Oh, the sacrifice was necessary. It's the price of freedom, isn't it? To tear away everything, even the innocence, even the light. They say I led them to death, but I gave them life. A life that burned so bright, it couldn't help but extinguish itself in one final blaze.
I knew Jim before he became Jim Jones. I saw him, raw and unrefined, full of dreams so big they seemed ridiculous. But that was the man I married, a man who truly believed he could make the world a better place, one small kindness at a time. Back then, it was community kitchens, clothing drives, speeches in humble halls to people who needed hope more than anything else. But somewhere along the way, those dreams grew teeth. I watched him change, watched him become something darker. At first, it was subtle. He'd tell me it was necessary, that people didn't understand that they had to be shown the truth by any means. But it was in Jonestown that I truly felt the shift. That jungle swallowed us whole, isolating us, making every whispered word a secret, every prayer a command. Jim was no longer my husband. He was a force I couldn't reason with, couldn't love in the same way. I tried to speak to him, to remind him of who we once were. I even held out hope that he'd listen, just once, for the sake of our family, our people. But his eyes, they were different. He was too far gone, lost in his own kingdom of fear and power. I stayed because how could I leave? I thought maybe I could make a difference. Maybe I could save a few of them, even if I couldn't save him.
Leaving wasn't a choice, it was survival. You don't know what it's like until you're in it, until every day becomes a game of pretending, a game of watching what you say, how you look, how you breathe. In the beginning, Jonestown was like a promise fulfilled, a place of equality, unity. But that unity, it was only skin deep. The guns, the threats, the punishments, they were whispers at first, easy to ignore if you didn't look too close. But one day, it all became too clear. I saw children starving while Jim ate in private. I saw friends shamed, punished, humiliated, all in the name of purification. I asked myself, who am I in this place? A follower, a believer, a prisoner? The weight of that question crushed me. And when I finally made it out, I thought I could leave it all behind. But the truth followed me, gnawed at me. How could I live with myself, knowing what I'd seen, knowing what I left behind? So I did the only thing I could. I spoke. I went to the authorities, the press, anyone who would listen. But nothing changed. Nothing. I ran and shouted, but it was as if the world had turned deaf. And so, the nightmare continued. Every night, I wonder if there was more I could have done. I wonder if I could have saved them.
Survivor. They call us survivors, but there's no comfort in that word. I walked out while others stayed, while others lay there, silent, never to rise again. I can still hear it, the cries, the final whispers, the sounds of surrender. I remember each face, each friend, each promise we made to each other. We thought we were building something eternal, something that couldn't be touched by the outside world. But that world found us, or maybe we just brought it with us. It wasn't a quick end, it was slow, like a poison seeping into every corner of Jonestown. It started with the fear, the rumors, the distrust. Then, that day came. I watched as they lined up, as if they were resigned, as if there was no other way. Some cried, some went silent, others tried to run, but there was no place to go. People ask me what it was like, what happened. How do I tell them? How do I put into words the feeling of being surrounded by ghosts, ghosts that will never let go? I left Jonestown, but Jonestown never left me. It's there every night, in the silence, waiting.
This isn't what we came here for, Jim. I didn't follow you all this way, to this new life, just to have it end like this. You promised us a life of freedom, of peace. And now you're asking us to give that up? To just throw it all away? Look at these people. Look at them, Jim. They're scared, they're exhausted, they're hungry for the life you promised. And what you're asking us to do, it isn't right. We don't have to do this. We can find another way, we can go somewhere else if they don't want us here. We have children, mothers, friends, people who want to live, who want to see another day. If this life we've built here is really what we believe in, then let us fight for it. But not like this. Not by taking the easy way out. This isn't bravery. This is giving up. Listen to me, all of you. We have the power to make a choice. We can still live. We don't have to be afraid. If we truly believe in the freedom and the equality Jim talked about, then we have the right to speak our minds, to question, to say no. Let's not turn away from life just because things got hard. We came here for a reason, didn't we? To live without fear. And here we are, facing fear in the face. Let's not surrender to it. Jim, I'm begging you, please. Don't ask us to do this. I believe in what we've built here, I do. But ending it like this, it's not the answer. Let us go. Let the children live. We've always stood for something better, haven't we? We've always said we were different from the world outside. Let us show that now. Show mercy, show hope, show faith in what we stand for. If this place was really meant to be a paradise, then don't let it end as a nightmare. Give us a chance to live. That's all I'm asking. A chance.
I went there to make sure they were safe. I thought I could walk in, see the smiles, shake a few hands, and leave knowing these people were all right. But the moment I arrived, something felt wrong. Eyes darting away, guarded smiles, a quiet tension in the air. They said it was paradise, a haven. But all I saw was fear, people whispering in shadows, secrets lurking at every corner. And when they handed me those notes, messages scribbled on scraps, pleas for help, I knew I couldn't just turn my back. They trusted me. They trusted that I'd do something, that I'd be their voice. But I was too late. I wanted to save them, every single one. But they wouldn't let me. The bullets, the screams, it's a horror that haunts me. And all I can think is, I should have done more. God, I should have done more.
Christine, you don't understand. None of them understand. That's what breaks my heart most of all. This world, the world outside our gates, will never let us live in peace. I've tried to give you all a life free from their hate, from their chains. But every day they've chipped away at us. They've hunted us down, twisted our intentions, and refused to let us be. And now, here we are, our backs against the wall. And you think we can just walk away? I'm not asking for any of you to suffer. I'm trying to protect you from it. They're coming, Christine. They're coming to rip our children from our arms, to tear our families apart, to make each and every one of us wish we'd taken this peaceful way out. You talk about living, about wanting another chance? What kind of life are you asking for? A life as prisoners? As subjects to their hatred? Is that what you really want for these children? For these innocents? You don't understand the sacrifices that have brought us thus far. Everything I've done for you. I've seen what happens to people who don't conform, who try to fight the system. They don't get mercy, they get crushed. You think we can bargain with them? Reason with them? No, Christine, that's a dream. I've told you before, dreams won't save us here. Only courage will. This is our stand. This is our choice to go out with dignity, not as pawns, not as slaves. You might want to run to give them satisfaction of watching us cower, but I will not let them take away what we've built here. They'll never understand the love, the unity, the family we've created. But we know what it's worth, don't we? I'm asking each of you to join me in this final act of defiance. Show the world we are free. No one, not Christine, not anyone, will take that away from us. Now please, mothers, you've been passed syringes. Suffer not the children, give that to them first. Then we'll go as adults. That's right, children. Close your eyes. They're coming. They're coming. In the voices of these six, we find fragments of a greater story, a testament to the power of belief and the price of control. The People's Temple was not just a community, it was a mirror reflecting the darkest corners of our desire for salvation. Let these voices remind us that even in the pursuit of paradise, the path can twist into tragedy. And as always, we leave you with this reminder that once you enter the dark, you may never be the same.